For decades, the theory of evolution has been presented as settled science, the foundational truth behind the origin of life and species. Yet, a powerful, organized group of thinkers and scientists claims the public narrative is incomplete. They allege the scientific community is deliberately overlooking or suppressing data that challenges the very timeline of life on Earth. This is the confidential doc file on the greatest scientific controversy of our time. The evolution lie? And why are so many qualified voices claiming that critical evidence is being hidden? The debate is simple. Does the fossil record provide a smooth, clear transition from one species to the next, as predicted by Darwin, or are there missing links, critical gaps in the evidence, that are never properly addressed? We will investigate the claims from both sides, starting with the core evidence presented to the world for over a century. To understand the controversy, we must first establish the established view. The scientific consensus holds that the sheer volume of evidence from paleontology, genetics, and observed natural selection overwhelmingly supports the theory of evolution. We look first at the classic examples presented in every textbook. Figures like Archaeopteryx, with its reptilian skeleton and bird-like feathers, and the hominid fossil sequence, are presented as definitive proof of gradual, incremental change. Proponents argue that while the fossil record is imperfect, like pages missing from a book, the overall narrative is intact. They point to hundreds of transitional fossils discovered since Darwin's time, proving that the links are no longer truly missing. For the scientific community, the evidence is not hidden. It is robust and available for peer review. Beyond the bones, the genetic argument is considered irrefutable. We share over 98% of our DNA with chimpanzees. This genetic similarity, combined with observable small-scale evolution like antibiotic resistance in bacteria, is cited as the final nail in the coffin of the creationist claim. However, the scientific dissidents claim that this presentation is overly simplified and that the most complex systems remain unexplained. This is where the file gets controversial. The dissident movement, often championed by creationists and proponents of intelligent design ID, argues that the established scientific community has been willfully blind to evidence that does not fit the evolutionary paradigm. This is the heart of the claim. Evidence is being hidden through omission and suppression. One of the most powerful challenges cited is the Cambrian Explosion. Roughly 540 million years ago, almost all major animal body plans appeared suddenly and fully formed in the fossil record, with no clear evolutionary precursors. The allegation: why do textbooks rarely emphasize the sheer suddenness of this event? Critics claim this challenges the idea of slow, gradual change and is a gap so large, it must be hidden in the narrative. We investigate the argument of irreducible complexity, most famously advocated by Michael B. This argument states that certain biological systems, like the bacterial flagellum motor, are so complex that if you remove one part, the entire system fails. Therefore, they could not have evolved incrementally. They must have been designed as a complete unit. The allegation: why does mainstream science dismiss these examples as non-science without a deeper, public debate on the mathematical probability of such systems evolving purely by random chance? Is the suppression of these arguments a deliberate attempt to maintain the current power structure of evolutionary biology? To understand the claim that evidence is hidden, we must examine the political and academic environment surrounding this debate. The dissidents argue that the suppression is not physical, but systemic. We look at the claims of scientists who argue their research challenging aspects of evolution is often rejected by peer-reviewed journals or leads to denial of tenure and funding. This leads to a self-censorship, where researchers, even those who are not strict creationists, avoid publishing data that might be misinterpreted as anti-evolutionary for fear of professional reprisal. In this context, hiding evidence becomes a professional survival strategy. We analyze the public communication of both sides. Is the scientific community simplifying complex issues like the discovery of a new transitional fossil to the point of misrepresenting the remaining gaps? Conversely, are the creationist voices misrepresenting transitional fossils as plastic or fake to fuel their own narrative? The true evidence may not be hidden, but buried under layers of bias and rhetorical warfare. The file on the evolution lie is closed, but the debate is far from over. We have seen the standard scientific view, which argues the evidence for evolution is overwhelming and continues to grow. We have also seen the counter-arguments from the dissident camp, which suggests the academic consensus ignores crucial gaps in the fossil record and complexity in genetics. In this controversy, the battle is not just about science. It is about authority, belief, and the fundamental question of where we come from. The evidence is presented. The conflicting claims have been laid out. It is now up to you, the viewer, to review the evidence and decide which side of the argument you stand on. Subscribe to Confidential Doc for more deep dive files and join the most important debates of our time.